Hello everyone, welcome back to our competitive analysis and strategy class. In this session, we'll talk a very interesting topic, which is actually the international business strategy. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to highlight with you and make an analysis of is actually, why companies are expanding. Why are they moving to another country? Is it because they already fulfill the needs of the market in their nation, or it's because there are other things? Okay, we can have a lot of reasons, a lot of examples, but the thing here is that, well, if you get into this challenge of moving to another country, to another culture, well, you have to make an analysis of what are the things that you will have to go through in order to have the best outcome possible. Okay, so in this case, we will have to go back to the theory and evaluate also. Do I have the capacity and I'm really available for entering to this new nation? What are the things that I will have to go through? And of course, what are the things that I can do in case I get into trouble? Because remember that sometimes maybe the issue here is that you will have to analyze, okay, if a problem arises. Okay, so the first thing that we'll like to go through is actually the international expansion. Okay, why organizations in general, okay, are moving to new nations, to new cultures? Well, first of all, because they find that they have other markets that they can serve, that maybe they have less competition, maybe they could be better perceived because they are international, maybe because depending on the place where they are producing, even the price could be way much competitive, and of course they could have better profit margins. Okay, so we have a lot of things going on, and the thing here is like, well, up to which point are they willing to move? Okay, not just offering their products, but also even moving the entire production. Okay, so that should be the insight of this particular analysis. So the first thing is why companies are becoming international. Okay, so trying to highlight a few aspects is actually because they can have more customers. Okay, they can have more clients, they could have more sales. Another thing, it's like, well, if we analyze the economical customs and all this aspect that involves logistics, well, with the free trade agreements that we spoke in last session, but also, the acceptance, okay, every day we have less taxes, tariffs in this case. Maybe we could have more ways of providing the product to a new spot. Okay, and of course that leads into more competition. That's why, even though that we are not in international business, okay, we should know that these barriers, okay, lead into new competition. Okay, even though that we are selling completely local. Another thing, it's that the global consumption, nowadays, you can see that everyone knows about K-pop, everyone knows about US or even Europe brands. So people, they want to have those things. And just because they are not in that country, that won't stop, okay, people from that type of consumption. So we have a tremendous global consumption that leads into these particular aspects. Another thing is that, well, while trying to expand into new horizons, new places, we could have four types of strategy, which is the global, multi-domestic, transnational, and the international strategy. Okay, so as we can see, the elements that we'll have to analyze is actually the global integration and the local responsiveness. So let's make the analysis of this of each strategy. And the first thing is actually the international strategy, okay? In which we have the first approach is the first step of most companies that they want to go global. Most of the time it's just import and export. And also because the thing here that we have to be really careful about it is the Incoterm, okay, the International Commercial Terms, which is actually updating every once in a while, 4 or 5 years. They update, and it's important for us to know, because remember that Incoterm is the element that will allow us to know the level of responsibility, or up to when are we responsible from a specific logistic, okay? Are we entirely responsible up to bringing the product to the store of the other company in the other country, or maybe just because we just put it in on board, okay, of a boat, it's more than enough. The rest will be responsibility of the buyer. Well, those things would need to be analyzed in the Incoterm. Another thing is actually the global strategy, which here, I mean, we're going into a huge demand, and of course, that we are also expanding, not just selling the products, but also the operations of the company. And here's a huge deal, because you're definitely analyzing and stating that you want to be in that region, in that country for the long term. I mean, you're not creating a factory just for only 1, 2, 3 years. It's because you're definitely thinking in moving your operations, or even most of your operations are in a global scope. Maybe your production's in one country, your finance be taking another, okay, your marketing is in another. So I mean, that's why it's a global thing, okay, because your operation, not necessarily just production, okay, are moving to other markets. Another thing that we have is a multi-domestic thing, multi-domestic strategies. What happens here is that we try to adapt, okay? We have different countries to serve, but we try to adapt by making adjustments, okay? And those strategies, those marketing, sales, and product portfolios are based on the country they're operating, okay? And that makes an adjustment, okay, a flexibility that's involved. Maybe other strategies they won't adapt, okay, and that might be a failure aspect, but this is more about trying to adapt to the regions in which we are trying to move forward, okay? And the transnational strategy, okay, as we can see here, part of the operations, okay, and assets are moving into a country, okay, and here it says a transnational strategy determines the levels of global integration, okay, and what's happening here is that most of the things are centralized, okay. Here is kind of like the first movement into maybe a global strategy, but the thing here is that at least the majority of our operations are still in a specific country, okay. So that's why transnationals are quite famous, and that leads into a full combination of strategies, which definitely what we have to think about is that, well, there's not like the best one, okay? The best one is the one that fits and that is important and relevant to the strategies of your company, okay? That's what makes a unique thing. And of course, you may be moving towards another type of strategy, definitely, but that's going to be until the time arrives and you can make that adjustment, okay? So this will be it for today. Thank you very much and have an excellent day. Bye-bye.